Hello again, Dan.
Hello again to you.
Good to see you. For our viewers, this may be the first video in the series they're watching, or you could be the third of the AOC journeyers they're watching. But just in case this is your first, reminding you that, we at the Circling Institute teach a year-long training program that we call the Art of Circling Practitioner Training. And Dan is one of the four people who have graciously volunteered to kind of give you a sneak peek, little, like, I don't know what they want to call it, like behind the curtain or like open the kimono, like whatever the analogy you like. But he's going to like to invite you along on his ride as he takes these workshops and has these experiences and tries to take the skills and the tools that he's learning and apply them in his life and in other arenas outside of a formal circle. And so, Dan, this is your opportunity to just kind of like introduce yourself to our community and share anything you want them to know about you, or like share what you anticipate they might be in store for. Um, yeah, and I may, ask some deepening questions or anything that I get curious about, but I'm really just curious what like when you get to introduce yourself to someone, like what feels relevant for you to share? What feels important for you to
Where I usually start is talking about what I'm doing with my life now. So I graduated from college in 1994. I went to law school. I had a mainstream job at a regional law firm in the state of New Jersey. I made partner. And the more that journey continued, the more and more I felt that something was missing with my life. My mother was diagnosed with dementia in 2014, and my wife and I really rethought what we were doing when that happened. She was relatively young, she was in her 60s. I was 15 years into a career that I was more and more unhappy with. And my wife and I began asking questions about how to live a different kind of life without really knowing where to look or what to do.
mm-hmm.
And we left mainstream culture. I retired from the law in 2019. And as a result of the pandemic, my wife left teaching a little earlier than perhaps she otherwise would have in 2021. And looking at it in hindsight, I would say that we were looking for a more spiritual life. And that is what we've found. We've been working on ourselves using sacred medicines, other sorts of modalities, exploring the spiritual world. And that's what led us to circling.
mm, yeah, nice. And I think what was the reconnecting to the real retreat with John Vervaeke and Guy, was that one of your first introductions to circling, or had
No, we a year before that, when the Vervaeke Foundation and the Circling Institute held an online Dialectic into Dialogos seminar, that was my first introduction into circling. And my wife and I joined a Dialogos group right afterwards, and that was a really meaningful and remains a really meaningful practice that we engage in once a month. Ironically, it was things like exploring anger and resentment in that structure that really brought it alive for me. Anger and resentment towards myself were very big and remain big in my spiritual journey, and kind of turning those anti-virtues around and analyzing them as virtues really helped take away the ground in which I would still plant my angry or resentful flag.
mm,
And you're right that when the return to the real retreat occurred in March of this year, 2025, we got a deeper taste of what circling is and could do for us and the communities we're in and the people we hope to serve. Yeah, we wanted more.
nice.
Yeah.
Okay. And that led you to join our year-long program.
Yeah, we took the Explorer weekend in May of 2025, and I went into it kind of open to the possibility that maybe in that weekend I could get the 20% that would give me the 80% from like an intellectual Pareto perspective. but it seemed much more deep than that once I had done it. And we both agreed that this is something that will be a real challenge for us. We'll invite a lot of growth, but also a deepening of relationship with self and reality.
Nice. So have you have you been challenged thus far, even in just the, I think have you taken Explorer and Sovereign
I've
now?
taken Just Explore. I took it twice. Yes, I've been challenged. Um, so I have a lot of perfectionism patterns. I had to be perfect. If I wasn't perfect, I would be yelled at or hit.
Mm.
And that is coming up all of the time. And it's an opportunity for me to continue to soften those survival behaviors, get space from them, and practice in a challenging but supportive environment that allows me to find more and more authentic me.
Nice. I like
Yeah.
that. Find more and more authentic me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Great. And is there anything specific that you're looking for in this program or anything you're hoping to get from your year-long commitment to being in this intense container where you're going to be learning this model?
I try to be soft on intentions because oftentimes if I'm graspy with intentions, that sort of graspiness can block what's really there.
Mm.
So in terms of intentions, I do have soft intentions. It is around perfection. Um, and it's around flow. As someone who was really intellectual and following a procedure, it seems to me, having seen quite a few people circle now, that there's an opportunity to discover my way of circling within the broader milieu. So yeah, that's another intention as well. What does it look like to be authentic me in circle?
And to find your own unique voice
Yeah,
and
yeah,
resist the urge to do it right or
yeah,
like any of the
yeah,
other leaders,
yeah,
but
yeah,
really giving yourself permission to find
yeah,
own unique.
yeah. And as you're saying that, it brings up a third thing that you've reminded me of, which is I do pick up on a lot from other people
Mhm.
to navigate my childhood in what I've heard called like a dry drunk environment. No
Mhm.
one was an alcoholic, but it felt like an alcoholic sort of environment where you never knew where the discord or the violence was going to arise or come from. I'm one of those people who kind of has like a low level scan on all the time, and I pick up all this stuff. And yeah, how do I use that in a way that's wholesome and not a way that's continuing to advance that survival behavior? That is something I practice in all of my practices, and it's absolutely going to be a rich experience to work with that here with circling.
Yeah, and I imagine there'll be a lot of people in our community who can identify with that in some
Yeah,
way of like
yeah,
standing for what's expected of me or what other people are doing or what the
yeah,
right thing to do so that I can keep myself safe or
yeah,
I can belong, I can avoid rejection, I can avoid, isolation or um, criticism. Yeah. And so like, oh, I got goosebumps hearing that you're like, yeah, that's one of the things I'm like going to be working.
right.
Oh, I'm so looking forward to hearing your experiences with that work and how
Mm,
it's showing up for you and what you're learning and the ahas and the
mm,
insight and the learning curves. And I imagine there are going to be so many people in our community who have a similar
mm,
path or a similar growth edge.
mm,
Hopefully can like be inspired by you or learn vicarious or learn alongside you or even just get some like permission and normalization to explore their own edges as you courageously share about exploring your.
Hopefully, I'm learning from them as well.
Yeah,
Yeah,
well yeah, I hope so as well. i love
yeah,
i love reading the comments under videos where people are like,
mm,
this really touched me in this way or like this helped me deal with this, and so
mm,
hopefully we'll get some good interactions there.
mm.
Yeah. Anything else alive for you or anything you want us to know about you or like anything you want to share about, what you're committed to or what you imagine people might, you know, see through you or from you? throughout
I
your.
don't know if this is really responsive to anything you just said, but it's probably important to know that I often speak in metaphor and most folks aren't aware of when I'm doing it.
Oh,
Um, yeah, because it takes language takes a lot to say things. And I am often wrapping a lot into my own idioms that might not make sense to others. So if what I'm saying isn't quite clear, just ask. I can usually flesh anything out.
I love it. I love
Yeah.
like what struck me was you said I talk in metaphors a lot, and often people don't recognize, and they're like, "Wait, is he being metaphorical?" Like, I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it brings up another exciting aspect that someone else just asked me about. They were like, someone told me that they really enjoyed watching last year's Journeyers. Last year was the first time we did this, and they asked if I would ever be going live. It's funny, I got goosebumps even saying it out loud. They're like, "Will you ever be
Mm,
going live with Journeyers so that like we could interact with them?" And I was like,
mm,
"Oh, woo! I don't
mm.
know."
That could be fun. Yeah,
Yeah.
that could be fun.
Yeah, so it might be interesting to play with
Yeah,
that, like
sure,
a week after a module, like or 2 weeks
sure.
after a module. Let's get on, a little 30-minute live and people can ask questions and
Yeah.
you and I can be talking and like we'll keep an eye on the chat and see what other people are interested in.
Mm,
That could be some really fun engagement.
mm,
We'll
mm.
all of
Yeah,
it,
sure.
Dan, and like we're in it together.
Yeah.
Maybe even sometimes you and Susan will want to come on together and talk
Well,
about
that would be interesting. Yeah.
to do this as a couple.
Yeah, that would be interesting.
What are the pros and cons and like what are the like joys and edges that you guys have experienced like
Mm,
doing an intensive growth edge experience with your significant other.
yeah.
I know I had a significant other years and years ago where we were trying to debate. We were both enjoy Vipassana retreats, and I,
Mm.
it'd be fun to do one together, and he was like, "No, I don't even understand it. No one can talk. Like, why?" He's like, I think it would be like I would want like I don't want to be going through this knowing you're going through this and like being wanting to be able to be connected to you and not. And I was like,
Mm,
okay. Like it was so interesting
mm,
we were having like the opposite idea about
mm,
this experience. And so
mm.
be curious to see how it
Yeah.
goes for the two of you.
Well, we've done most of our work together,
Uh-huh. Hmm.
like 90+% of our work together. So yeah, that would feel, I think that would feel comfortable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Anything else? Anything you want to say to feel complete or anything
Um,
like feels
I think I probably should prepare people for the fact that having left the mainstream world, I have explored several portals of spirituality, and I might say some stuff that's out there. Uh, Ask questions. It's all experiential, and I'm happy talking about any of it.
nice?
Yeah.
Well, we look forward to it, Dan.
Yeah.
Thank you for taking time to introduce
Thank
yourself
you. Yeah,
to
I look forward to it.
me.